So imagine a huge, multi-billion-dollar economic deal between two global giants, a deal that affects more than a billion people. You'd probably picture, a big formal ceremony, right? Lots of handshakes and signed papers. Well, this one was announced with just a few words online. So today, we're going to decode the messages behind this major Indo-American accord. We're going to see how modern diplomacy, it really blends big business with what looks like personal friendship.
Okay, let's just start with a single number, 18%. What in the world could that one figure possibly mean for the global economy? Well, it turns out it's everything. It's the key that unlocks this massive new trade agreement between the US and India.
So this 18%, it was the heart of what got called a wonderful announcement. And we're going to see that the words they used, that phrase, wonderful announcement, is just as important as the number itself. It's really signaling a whole new chapter for trade between these two economic giants.
And here it is, the actual news. That number, 18%, is the new reduced tariff for products made in India that are coming into the US. Now, a tariff is basically just a tax on imported stuff. So, what does this really mean? Well, the impact is immediate. It makes Indian goods way more competitive and easier to get in one of the biggest markets on the planet.
Okay, to really wrap your head around the scale here, forget 18% for a second. Let's talk about another number, 1.4 billion. That's the population of India. And that's key because this deal wasn't just presented as some boring policy update. Oh no, it was framed as something that was going to affect every single person in the entire country.
And the language they used here is just so important. It's a big thanks on behalf of 1.4 billion people. Now think about that. This framing is super strategic. It changes the whole story, right? It's not some tough negotiation between two governments anymore. Instead, it's presented like a personal gift to an entire nation. And when you get a gift like that, you've got to say thank you, personally.
But, this whole thing wasn't just about tariffs and numbers. Not at all. The announcement really anchors this economic deal in a much, much bigger idea. A partnership that's built on things like shared values, democracy, and just plain mutual strength.
And this is where it gets really clever, this kind of dual framing. On one hand, you've got the political angle, right? They're called the world's largest democracies, which really pulls at the heartstrings of shared ideals. But then, at the very same time, you've got the economic angle, two large economies. This emphasizes the raw power. It's a really smart way to appeal to both people's values and their wallets.
So what's the goal of this partnership, according to them? Well, the language is super optimistic, very aspirational. It's all about how it benefits our people, which, makes it feel personal. It's going to unlock immense opportunities, which sounds exciting, like big things are coming. And it fosters mutually beneficial cooperation. I mean, that is pure, classic diplomatic gold.
Okay, so we've been looking at the big picture stuff. Politics, economics. Now let's zoom way in to the personal relationship between the leaders. Because let me tell you, in the world of diplomacy, calling someone your friend can be an incredibly powerful move.
I mean, check out the wording right here. My dear friend. That one little phrase completely changes the tone. It immediately makes the whole thing personal. Suddenly, it's not some stiff, formal call between two world leaders. It's painted as a warm chat between buddies, which suggests a whole different level of trust and closeness, way beyond what's normal.
And right after that very personal dear friend line, the praise just explodes onto the global stage. Suddenly, President Trump's leadership is described as vital, not just for India and the US, but for the entire planet's peace, stability, and prosperity. I mean, wow, that is a huge public thumbs up.
And this praise isn't just talk either. It's immediately followed up with a solid promise. India fully supports his efforts for peace. That one sentence is so important because it takes all those warm, friendly words and turns them into a real, public statement of support. It shows that this friendship has actual policy consequences.
All right, so finally, the announcement makes one thing crystal clear. This whole 18% tariff deal, that's not the finish line, not even close. In fact, it's framed as just the very beginning of something much, much bigger.
And the final message here is just incredibly ambitious. The stated goal is to take this partnership to unprecedented heights. That kind of language, looking way into the future, it does something really specific. It makes today's deal feel less like a final victory and more like just the first step on a ladder to a much, much deeper alliance.
So when we pull it all apart, what do we see? We see how one little number, 18%, was wrapped up in all these layers of personal friendship and big-picture politics. And it really leaves us with a fascinating question for the world we live in today. When we hear world leaders call each other dear friend for everyone to see, is that real? Or is it just the smartest, most effective way to sell a complicated economic deal to over 1 billion people?